Well, just like I predicted, an Ethereum to Bitcoin ratio break of 0.05 was on the horizon. That happened late last week. But like I also mentioned and predicted, this 0.05 ratio number is a turbulent time, and the break won't be so easy. Friday, Ethereum slipped under the ratio, but by late Saturday, 0.05 was broken once again. And as of Sunday, yesterday, we were pushing up towards 0.052. So what does the future hodl because of this? We'll find out in about 10 minutes, give or take a few, because it's time for Chico Crypto. What does it hodl? Well, the trend is your friend, my friends. The trend right now is Ethereum is hotter than Bitcoin. And there is a nice new tracker I found at ratiogang.com, which has a bar meter that fills. And it shows you important ratio numbers and where they are. Halfway to the flip, where at least Ethereum should be right now, is just over 0.08. And to the flip is just over 0.16. And now that it's the popular thing and it's really starting to build a narrative, Ethereum to flip, here comes the herd. The normies calling for what we've been saying would happen all year, while they were supporting Cardano blessing the rains down in Africa. Just a bit ago, they had Cardano in this hand, but now that it's popular, they have Ethereum in this hand. Well, you guys want to know what's going to be popular next? Well, the next iteration, the next wave of protocols and dApps built with Ethereum, but this time Ethereum 2 in mind. And I started my coverage with a very important one this weekend, the Truebit Protocol. Truebit is a smart contract scalability protocol, which is getting big eyes since its stealth launch. Fred Ursum, co-founder of Coinbase, tweeted this April 13th during the stealth launch. Truebit looks like a natural solution for scaling computation on Ethereum, despite the 96 throwback site. Scaling Ether, specifically in the computational layer, but that's from a VC investor. What about a developer? Well, the man himself, Vitalik Buterin, took to the message boards 2 days ago and posted this on Ether Research, EVM optimistic rollup using Truebit, which he describes the process of a rollup utilizing the protocol. Now, why would a rollup need to use Truebit? Well, to understand why, you need to understand that Rollups and Ethereum Plasma are very similar in their design and use fraud proofs for verifications. Going to Truebit's website on its application use cases, they have one listed as Plasma, and they say, Plasma scales transaction throughput through a hierarchy of blockchains in which parent chains have greater authority than their children. When a provable malfunction or fraud proof occurs in a child chain, a witness of that error allows its parent to reconcile the error via Truebit verification. Truebit allows fraud proofs to be reconciled by a witness in Plasma through verifications from its protocol. Truebit is something that helps Plasma work, and it's looking to be a critical piece of Rollups too, especially the optimistic flavor. Why? Well, last year, Carl Flourish and Jinglan Wang, those of Optimistic Ethereum, were on the Epicenter podcast, speaking of their rollup solution and design. Let's hear what Carl had to say when asked about Optimism and Truebit.
Is this sort of similar to like Truebit? I remember in Truebit where there people would post these like computation that was supposed to be done on chain, and then you'd have someone would go ahead and post a solution, and then there was a challenge period. So is this sort of basically using Truebit to build a chain?
Essentially, and that's why I was saying Plasma Leap is like especially interesting, because Plasma Leap was building a Truebit-like interactive fraud-proof game for arbitrary computation, and they're just using Plasma, which had that like liveness failure, difficulty. But yes, it is like Truebit in that it is a kind of interactive game which evaluates the validity of arbitrary computation. But in particular, our kind of what we call the OVM, which is the way that we run this computation in a way that is fraud provable, right? That is compatible with fraud proofs. This OVM actually doesn't share a lot of similarity with Truebit. Because in Truebit, you have to implement a kind of machine virtualization scheme, and you have to have this interactive fraud-proof game. And it's extremely inefficient to play the state transitions on the main chain using a kind of machine virtualization layer. I won't go into the too much detail, but we instead, with the OVM, built something like Docker.
So back then in April, there was a solution using Truebit called Plasma Leap, which got them excited about Plasma again. Optimistic rollups were similar to Truebit, but not the same. Optimistic rollups were so much better. They didn't need Truebit. Huh? Then why was Vitalik talking about rollups using Truebit just 2 days ago? Well, you ready to dive down the rabbit hole to find a new coin? Remember, Carl said there was a Plasma implementation that ran with Truebit verification, Plasma Leap. The team that ran with this new type of Plasma was the LeapDAO, and they launched their own Plasma solution on the mainnet in February 2019. And then in March of this year, the LeapDAO Twitter tweeted about another one of their products, the EMO. They said, EMO stands for Ethereum Machine Oracle. The goal of the project is to make it easy to verify large computations off-chain using an abstract machine of your choice. This is done by implementing a version of the Truebit verification game that uses a generic abstract machine. Now I wonder if the LeapDAO has a rollup that is doing a similar thing, implementing a version of the Truebit verification game. Well, there is a piece of the LeapDAO called Habitat, and this has the governance token, and they recently put out a community update called Rollup Choice. In the blog, they compared their rollup, Nutberry, with two other popular ones, Arbitrum and Optimisim. Does Nutberry use the Truebit verification game? Well, yeah, it did. The GitHub on the Nutberry project says, at the moment, Nutberry already supports verifying transactions by a Truebit-like verification game, and is work in progress to switch to the gated computing model as the next step before it generally supports arbitrary contracts on L2. Going to Habitat's webpage, we can see they have moved on the gated computing model, now called domains, and there are two specific domains right now within Habitat, utilizing their rollup solutions, the LeapDAO and Strudel Finance. So is Habitat's rollup the most advanced out there? They obviously are using some concept from Truebit's verification game already before Optmisim. So I can't answer that question as I'm no developer, so we have to wait as only time will tell.
Whoa, this is heavy. There's that word again, heavy. Why are things so heavy in the future? Is there a problem with the Earth's gravitational pull?
Remember, this video is about the future, the dApps, protocols, and projects building with the future in mind. The last one I want to cover is B.Protocol. Why do I like this one? Well, going to their website, they are a protocol layer for lending platforms, which eliminate the gas wars, providing them stability. AKA MEV, maximum extractable value, is being pushed back to the users of the B.Protocol. Lending protocol users interact with existing lending platforms via the B.Protocol smart contract. Liquidity providers within B.Protocol provide a cushion to users' debt, which gives B.Protocol precedence over other liquidators. The LPs, liquidity providers, then share their profits with the users, where a user's reward is proportional to his user rating. And the application is live. Going to it, we can see it already has over $250 million locked up and is live for both Maker and Compound, with Aave coming soon. Now, are these just out of the blue integrations with Maker, Compound, and Aave, or are they factors of something more? Well, 2 months ago, the founder of the protocol was interviewed, Yaron Velner, and he said this: before B.Protocol, I was the CTO of Kyber Network since it was founded in 2017. B.Protocol got a seed investment from Kyber Network and launched its first integration on top of MakerDAO at the end of October 2020. Back when he was interviewed, they only had 30 million TVL of users deposits in ETH, over 11 million DAI that was borrowed through their platform. Their Compound integration just launched, so now the Compound users could opt into the B.Protocol either by migrating their existing funds or by opening a new account to be managed by the protocol. They had also presented to both the MakerDAO community as well as the Aave community with proposals for what they termed native integrations to enable new collateral that would let their users get higher leverage on their funds. aka this protocol is from a smart developer, former CTO of Kyber, and those integrations with Compound, MakerDAO, and Aave are deep integrations that Yaron calls native integrations. So, BC Leaks Army, that is the true bit of this episode. The Chico crypto habitat is all about the deep integrations, especially if they are MEV focused. Cheers, I'll see you next time.